Well, hello again. Patricia here at home with my kitchen right over there or yonder. And it's been a long, long time. Ooh, it's been a long, long time. I always had a story that I had a really bad voice. Somebody told me once I couldn't carry a tune. It doesn't matter. It felt good belting that out. But anyway, here I am at home on this luscious Sunday afternoon. It snowed off and on today. Not really dumped like it did last week, but it snowed enough. As a matter of fact, if you look out the patio there, or the front window here, you can see the lights reflecting. Well, you can see outside, there's still a lot of snow out there. And apparently we're supposed to expect some more. But one of the things I really enjoy doing in weather like this, when it's really cold and I'm inside and it's nice and toasty and I feel blessed because I'm inside and it's nice and toasty, is I like to get my creative juices flowing in the kitchen. So in honor of Girl Scout cookie month, or whatever it is, however long it lasts, I decided to make a healthy alternative dessert based on the recipe of the Girl Scout cookies. Okay, this one is called Samoa's Girl Scout Cookie Pie. Believe it or not, it's a healthy alternative. And I want to credit the woman whose blog I found it on. I don't know what her name is, only her first name. But her blog is called Chocolate Covered Katie, Healthy Dessert Blog. So if you're curious, you may want to go check out Chocolate Covered Katie, Healthy Dessert Blog. This is where I found the recipe. Actually, it's awesome. It's snowing outside right now a little bit. But anyway, and I didn't just choose a recipe based on Girl Scout Cookie Month or week or whatever it is. But I have a lot of leftover avocados. I bought a big old hefty bag of organic avocados from Costco. I love avocados. They're so nutritious, rich and creamy, and a great source of healthy fat. But I bought a whole bunch, and I live alone, and I can't eat them as quickly as they're ripening. So I started thinking about making a dessert with avocados, because I've never made a dessert with avocados. I've made salsa, guacamole, like an avocado sauce, but that's it. So that's why I'm using avocados in the recipe. And if you don't like avocados, you don't have to make this. And this recipe is pretty much vegan, except for the ghee. Actually, you know what? That's not true. The whole recipe is vegan. And it's gluten-free because I'm not using wheat flour, which Katie suggests. But she does offer the alternative, so I'm using a gluten-free coconut flour. So, anyway, here are my ingredients. All of it's organic, fair trade cacao powder, and organic coconut flour. Then I have my organic coconut shredded and chips. You don't have to use shredded and or chips. It's best actually to use chips or coconut flakes. But I had leftover shredded, so I threw those in as well into my measuring cup. And these are from Sprouts. And then extra virgin coconut oil, coconut cream that I actually put in a jar because they come in cans. I think I can grab one here. Hold on one second. So you can see in the event you want to go buy some ingredients to make this recipe. So here's an example. This is actually organic heavy coconut cream, which is awesome in coffee if you don't want to use dairy. But I had coconut milk, and it did come in a can like that, which I got at a local health food store. And then a pinch of salt, some honey, and that's the vegan part. If you don't want honey, you can use the alternative. And what does she suggest? Because this is her recipe. She says you can use agave nectar. But to me, agave nectar is worse than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick or a dull stick, because it's very high fructose, I think it is. Way, way, way sweet. So anyway, maybe it's not for vegans. So what else? What else? What else? And then of course, my luscious avocados. You like my luscious avocados? All right, these avocados. Seriously. Yeah. So, oh, and then the recipe also called for Kahlua, which is a coffee liqueur, which I used to drink in my party days with a little bit of cream, half and half, and Kahlua. I think it was called a White Russian. It was really good. But anyway, I don't have that, which is probably good. So the alternative to the Kahlua is a very strong brewed coffee. So I'm a French press kind of gal when I make coffee, which is rare. It's a treat. And it is organic coffee as well. Why organic? Because coffee has a lot of chemicals and it's highly processed and denatured. So if you're going to do it as clean as you can, which means to me organic. So the first thing I had to do, and I did this before I started filming, was I toasted the, let me turn the camera around this way. I toasted some coconut, the coconut flakes or chips in a pan. And all you do is just take your measured out portion of coconut and you put it in a stainless steel pan that's already heated and warmed up. And you toast them on medium for at least 5 minutes. I did this probably about 7 minutes. So they're nice and crunchy and toasted. Yeah? Hear that? Do you hear the crunch? So beautiful toasted coconut there. Okay, so toast the coconut in a large skillet of a medium heat for 5 minutes until golden. And then set it aside. All right, well, it's been set aside because I did this before I started the video. So I'm going to bring it over here. And the next step, bring it over here, meaning the actual pan. I have the camera on my kitchen counter this time, which I don't normally use. I always work in that little corner over there by the food processor. By this food processor, which I'm going to use today. It's a home chef and professional chef's delight to have a food processor. It mixes things up very nicely and quickly too. But there wasn't enough workspace, so I moved the camera over here. The downside about being over here is that there's not a lot of light. So video and camera aficionados, please be patient with me. I'll do the best I can. So anyway, all right. So I'm going to take my toasted coconut and I'm going to, okay, I'm going to put it in a large bowl. So the large bowl I have is my glass bowl. So let me turn this camera angle over here so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to dump them all the toasted flakes in there, toasted coconut flakes in the large bowl. And then set this back aside here, get all those sweet little crumbs from the coconut. And then the next step in the recipe is to add the melted coconut oil. That's right, I forgot to tell you. Actually, I'm going to angle the camera on this side. I forgot to tell you that prior to making the video, as I prepared my mise en place in the culinary world means all your ingredients are in place. See that? Kind of looks a little messy, but I know what's going on. But anyway, so let's move the camera over there. So prior to making the video, I took the coconut oil and I melted it, okay? And this is four tablespoons of coconut oil. So it says to add the coconut oil. And I'm going to use my rubber spatula to scrape out any leftovers in there because it's so highly nutritious and delicious. I don't want to waste any of it. put that aside. And then the next step here is, let's see, coconut, okay. And then I'm gonna add the flour. The flour is a 1/2 cup. Like I said, I'm not using whole wheat flour because that would be a gluten dessert, a gluten dish, a gluten meal. 95% of the time, I avoid gluten. And not because I suffer or experience celiac disease, but because gluten creates inflammation in the body. So you'll find yourself being rounder in the face, pudgier, more inflamed, and not just in the face, all over. So if you want to be lean like me at almost 60, actually I've been leaner, but working on it, then you want to try to avoid gluten. So in this case, the alternative is coconut flour. So I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of coconut flour. Here are some of my measuring cups. So 1/2 cup. And you can just stick it in the bag like this and try and scoop it out. Yeah, that seems to be working okay. And yeah, that's about a 1/2 cup. Actually, maybe a tad bit more because there's a little hole divot in that measurement that came out. Okay, so there's a 1/2 cup of coconut flour. And then, let's see, it's just melted coconut flour. 1 tablespoon of the honey. So honey, 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 ¿dónde estás? Where are you? Here you are, honey. So 1 tablespoon of honey. Where's my tablespoon? Oops. Measuring spoons. Tablespoon. The honey's the messiest part, I bet, because it's obviously really sticky. So, bear with me here. I'm gonna hang this over for a minute and let it drain while I get the honey out of the way. And the other ingredients that I'm not using. And then maybe I use another little spoon to scoop out of any of the excess honey, like so. Okay, so just kind of do that. And if you want, you can do what I normally do, which would be lick the spoon. So, there's the honey, and it's really good. It's actually, what is it? It's pure orange blossom honey from a local town, Temecula. So you want to support your local farmers and such. So then I'm going to also lick this out because it's good. And I'm going to rinse it off because I'm going to use it again, I'm sure. I'm going to use the measuring spoon again. So just, well, a wise woman would have rinsed it off with hot water because it's sticky sugar. So it got a little sticky, but that's okay. I'll use a paper towel to get the rest out. It's all right. It's all good, brothers and sisters. All right. So I've got my 1.5 cups of toasted coconut, my melted coconut oil, the flour, and 1 tablespoon of honey. And it says to combine it in a large bowl. So let me combine it. This would be combining, right? Mixing it up. This is actually very easy. So if you're wondering why I chose the recipe, the Girl Scout cookie, alternative healthy Girl Scout cookie pie recipe, this particular one, because I had another one, was key lime pie or something. Why did I choose Samoa's? Because I love the Girl Scout cookie Samoa's. Although I haven't had one in probably 10 years, but actually that's not true. Probably at approximately 7 years I haven't had one. I love them because they're a combination of chocolate and coconut. And I love freaking chocolate and coconut. Those are 2 of my favorite things, other than a good lover. Chocolate and coconut. So, okay, it says combine it. I think that's pretty good combining. But because I appreciate being in the kitchen, especially at home, and understand the importance of the tools of the trade, I'm gonna use my hands for the rest of that. So bear with me again, because I wanna make sure it's really blended. And the best way to do that is to get your hands in the food. See, just like I'm doing here, hands in the food. Don't worry, my hands are clean. Interesting. I stand here and it looks really dark. I stand here and it's lighter. And that's because I'm blocking some of the light. So let me turn a little bit. But anyway, so I'm glad I decided to use my fingers and mix this up because I can crunch it up a little more. All right, so that seems about right. Now it says, let's see. Press, okay, so take the mixture after I blended it up and mixed it with my hands. Press it into and up the sides of a pie plate. Here's my pie plate, okay? So I'm gonna dump the mixture in the pie plate. Scoot that back a little bit. Right here. Mixture in the pie plate. Then I will get my bowl out of the way for now. I'm not gonna be crazy clean and clean it up at this very moment because I wanna tend to this first. And then it says to press it into and up the sides of. So I'm pressing it in, I'm using my hands, you see that? Using the hands, you can turn the pie plate gradually and slowly as you're pressing it in. And this is kind of fun because normally when I'm in the kitchen, oh, it's starting to offer a good snow now. Normally when I'm in the kitchen, I use all the typical utensils. You know, chopping knives, chef's knives, tongs, mixing spoons. So it's really nice for me to get my hands in there. I feel it's more loving. So because I'm exchanging my energy. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm exchanging my loving energy from my body into the food. So I'm infusing it with my love and my passion. I forgot, it did say to push it up the sides. I was pushing it down. So I'm pushing it up the sides a little bit. And not too much, because if I push too much up on the sides, the bottom crust right here on the bottom, see that? It'll get too thin. So I have to be wary of that. So let me make sure I have enough in there. So then I'll push it down a little bit just to kind of even it out on the sides. And then any parts that need to get filled in, like a little hole, will get filled in as I push it down a little bit, and it fills in that little teeny tiny hole here. I'll add something to it. I'll add a little bit of this chunk there. There. Okay. So that's about right. All right. Gosh, I want to lick my fingers. Oh, I got all this coconut and honey and I don't know what else I put in there. I can't remember. So, okay, I'm going to lick them and then rinse them. See? That's the cool thing about making your own cooking shows or instructional videos. You can do whatever you want. And whoever wants to watch will watch and follow you. And whoever doesn't because they didn't like you licking your fingers, they'll cut you off and never watch you again. And that's okay. I'm doing this more for me. But I am sharing the love. So, quick rinse here. And then, because I had my fingers in my mouth, I will use some of this lovely doTERRA essential oil. Shout out to doTERRA hand soap, On Guard, and wash the rest of that off and get my mouth germs off of my fingers. Anyway, so there's that. All right, now what's next, do you ask? I asked the same thing. What's next? Okay, so I have my little bowl here, and you see the sides of it right there? How I pressed it up along against the sides, not too high, because if I press it all the way to the top, the crust itself would be really thin. Okay, so that sets aside. So let me set it aside right there. The next step, add avocado. Ah, yes. This is where my crazy clean comes in. No, this is where I need the bowl again. So, once again, I'm just going to rinse it out or wipe it out. Why is that? Because There's nothing in there in this bowl that's dirty or disgusting. The same food that's going in the pie was in this bowl. So it's not a big deal, people. Meaning I'm not gonna wash it and dry it and all that stuff. I just wiped it out because now I'm gonna add the avocados. Okay, so the recipe called for, let's see, the flesh, the inside, the flesh of 2 ripe avocados. These avocados looked really good and ripe. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to cut them in half this way, carefully, while it's in my hand. I'm going to cut it in half, carefully, cautiously, and then just going to slowly twist it. There, yummy, yummy. You like my avos? Anyway, and then the next one, cut this one in half. Once again, these are organic avocados. Twist. There. So how do you get the seed out? I find the easiest way to get the seed out is to just kind of poke the knife in there like that, gently. Don't slam it too hard because you won't slip and cut your hand. And then you twist it. See how easy that was? And then here's my trash can. You can save them in the compost. Okay, so just let me do that again. Smack and twist, all right? Stick them in the compost, and then I will use a bigger spoon to scoop them out. Add avocado. Okay, the avocado doesn't have to be mushed or anything. It just has to be the flesh. So this is the flesh of an avocado. See how easily I scoop that out? And it has a little bit of black spots in it. So you just don't freak out if it has a little bit of black spots. See that? You just scrape them off. Okay, no harm. No harm. Just scrape them off. I don't know why that one had spots in it. Sometimes they do. Maybe just if they're just going to get too ripe, they'll get spots. Look how easily that came out. See that? So what you do is you take your spoon and you just stick it along the side and follow it all the way around and you scoop it out perfectly. And it comes out perfect. Perfect, perfect. Here's a little bit of more black stuff. I personally don't care for the black stuff. I don't think it's very pretty. But I have eaten it once or twice. It's not going to kill you. So once again, you start at the very end and you follow the spoon all the way around from the bottom of the avocado too, and then you just plop it right out. And then here's the last one. Okay, so that one had some, must have been the brother of the other one. It had some black spots as well, so I'll scrape those out gently. Alright, so these will go in the compost. So I'll just put those aside for now. Quick rinse with this, because I don't want it to get real hard and crusty, because then it's hard to clean. So I'm just going to do a quick rinse. Leave it in the sink. And you know me, I have my trusty wet towel so I can dab my hands. Alright, so there's the avocado. What else? Oh, the remaining honey. I forgot. I need some more honey. So, 45 tablespoons of honey to taste. Okay, that's a lot. What do I do with it? So, in this case, I'm going to use that same spoon that I used earlier for the avocados. Why? Because I feel personally, there's a little bit of avocado peel in there, so I don't want that. I feel personally it's easier to use this type of a spoon to measure than it is to use a traditional measuring spoon, because see how deep this one is? See that? And this is the same portion, but this one's more shallow, so it's easier to get in and out. So here's there's one, and then I'm going to use my other spoon, remember, to get the rest out. And I'm not going to do 5. I'm going to do, it says 4 to 5 tablespoons of honey or to taste. I'm only going to do 4 because that's a lot of sugar, although it is a natural sugar and it's honey, which is good for you. I personally, oops, dang it, had to lick that off. I personally don't like really sweet desserts. All right? Like even that little drop that fell on my thumb that I just licked off, that was pretty sweet. So that tells you, you know, my personal preference is something, I enjoy things that are not as sweet. Some people have the opposite experience. They like really sweet things. I personally don't. And that's not to say I don't eat sweets, healthy alternative sweets, like things that are made with honey or natural fruits, but I just don't like a lot. I'll clean the honey jar later. And then these two, I'm gonna go rinse them after I lick it. All right, so honey jar, I'll take care of you later. Okay, so there's the honey. What else is next? Oh, the cacao. How much cacao does it call for? It calls for a 1/4 cup of dark chocolate cocoa powder. Well, this isn't just any cocoa powder. It's organic, free trade. Yeah, organic, USDA organic, no lies here. Free trade, fair trade, organic cacao powder. All right. And it is an unsweetened, plant-based superfood. Lots of antioxidants. What else? So it said a 1/4 cup. Okay, so I'm just going to take my cup and I'm going to stick it in the bowl or in the bag, and I'm going to measure out. Let's see. There you go. A 1/4 cup. That's pretty level. And I'm going to dump it in there. Okay, so I'm done with the cacao. What else? What else? Ah! I started to shut the bag and some of the powder flew in my eye. Sometimes it can be rather dangerous in the kitchen. You don't even need heat to burn yourself or anything. So anyway, so the cacao I'm done with. Okay, next is coconut milk. Once again, I buy my coconut milk in cans because it's really hard to find a really good, thick, creamy, rich coconut milk in liquid form or in the refrigerator section of the store. But because they come in cans, I don't like to store them in cans once I open them. So I just take a leftover jar and put them in a leftover jar. So in this leftover jar is, I just, see, look, what the hell? See that? I just made a mess because I forgot that I had packed it all the way to the top. So bear with me, y'all. I bet you Ina Gardner and all those other home chefs, what's her name, De Laurentiis, I don't know what her name is, Gianna, they probably don't make messes, and if they do, they edit them out because nobody's perfect in the kitchen. So my trusty wet towel came handy immediately. So I'm gonna rinse it out real quick because I don't want it to get coagulated and yicky for later. Because I like to have a wet towel on hand in the event shit like that happens. Hey, you saw it here. Shit like that happens, especially in my kitchen. But anyway, so back to the coconut cream. How much? Actually, it's coconut milk. And let's see, coconut. Where does it say? Where does it say? Oh, 2 tablespoons of coconut milk. Okay, I'm going to use this one this time, this measuring spoon. So, 1, 2. And those are kind of heaping spoons because I love the flavor of coconut. So having a little more coconut and I put a little bit more chocolate is okay with me. So let's move this over here. Rinse that off. Because I think I may need this spoon later. So put that there. Wipe my lid. I'm going to put my coconut back in the refrigerator because it needs to be refrigerated once you open it. Okay? So hold on. All right. So I got the avocado, honey, cacao, coconut milk. I don't have the Kahlua, but I have the strong brewed coffee that I made in a French press. So let me show you how this is done. Angle the phone down a little bit. So I've made drinks with the French press before, hot alternative coffee drinks. So you just push it down slowly all the way to the bottom, to the grinds. If you do it too fast, the glass can actually break, so because the pressure from the heat builds up, so you want to go slow. And then you just turn it around to the screen. And then I like to kind of give it a swirl, especially because this has been sitting here for a while. Remember, I made it earlier, so it was all ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it into this glass so I can measure it out from here. And I let it sit for probably at least 30 minutes. So it's a big, strong, actually it's not big, it's a very strong cup of coffee. Oh yeah, it smells strong too. So the recipe calls for only 1 tablespoon. So, back over here, oops, turn this over. So I have my trusty little wet wiping towel again. So 1 tablespoon, I'll mix it up a little bit so the grinds, if there are any grinds at the bottom, they get stirred in and blended in. There should not be any grinds anyway, because that's a great French press and it's got a nice screen to filter out any grinds. So here's 1 tablespoon. I'm going to add a smidge more only because it didn't look like it was quite 1. So I'll put this aside for later. And maybe as my morning treat after breakfast, of course, when I get something in my stomach. Because if you drink coffee on an empty stomach, it can affect your digestion. And because there is a lot of acid in the coffee. So it's a really good idea to have some food in your stomach first before you drink coffee. So, all right, so let's see, what else here? What else am I not remembering? Okay, so I have the Kahlua, coconut milk. Okay, a pinch of salt. Yeah, so here's my leftover salt. Actually, it's not leftover. I keep it in the jar with a reminder to myself. Actually, I put the note on it so when company come over, they can see that this is salt in a jar. But anyway, it just says a pinch. So what does a pinch look like to me? A pinch is literally a pinch. And no, not a pinch between your cheek and gum. A pinch between your fingers. Okay, so there's that. So done with the salt. All right, so now everything is in the bowl. This bowl, but here's the key. The key is, put this over here. Got to take it over now to the other kitchen counter because I'm going to use the Cuisinart now, the food processor. So, this is what a food processor looks like. This one is a Cuisinart, and I think they're the best ones you can have for your home kitchen. That's my opinion anyway. So, there you go. So in this case, I'm going to take the lid off. So you just kind of, let me angle this a little bit more. Okay, you just, it was locked into place, and this is how it works. It blends everything. So you have to unlock it. So I unlocked it, took the lid off. I'm going to take all these ingredients, okay? And I'm going to stir them in here. Now, I realized as I was reading this, the instructions on this recipe, I could have just put all those ingredients directly into the food processing bowl, which is what I'm doing now, as opposed to my bowl here, this glass bowl. But I'm so used to using that glass bowl that I just did it that way, so no big deal. You can see all the ingredients in here. Okay, so what you do now, try not to make a mess is what you do. Hold on. I don't even know how long this video is. Oh wow, it's already 35 minutes. So you put the lid on, you lock it into place, and then you turn it on. So give me a second. And it says to process until it's completely smooth. Don't know how long that's gonna be. Looking good, looking good. Come on, avocados, get in there. Okay, so I'm just gonna, because I threw the avocados in their whole, I'm gonna break this one up a little bit just to speed it up for time purposes. That one too, because like I said, it was already 35 minutes. So, and it's probably okay if you would have diced or chunked up the avocados, but that's all right. Okay, so let me see if this can quicken up the process. Well, anyway, I'm going to check while that's smoothening up and blending. I'm going to look outside and see if it's still snowing. Just slightly. Anyway, back to the kitchen, back to the beautiful task at hand. Let's check out this blend. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. I like to do this. I like to take my spatula, my wooden or rubber spatula, and just scrape the sides. This is the experienced home chef here. And just blend them down in there. I don't want anything left out. It looks really good. I'm going to do a little taste test here. Okay. This is good. It's a good idea to do a taste test. You know why? Because I just discovered, even with 4 tablespoons of honey, that it still, I feel, needs a little bit more honey. And why is that? It's because the chocolate is so bitter. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little drizzle, and I'm going to add it while it's working, while the processor's going to blend it. Okay, so watch this. There's actually a contraption up on top you can pour through. Okay, and then there's a stopper that you use to push the food through. But I'm going to turn it on. And I'm just going to add a little more honey. I'm just going to pour it right in there. About another tablespoon. Okay, that's good. All right, excellent. So, wow. Oh my God, that looks amazing. And, oh, it smells amazing. Okay, let's see. I feel it's pretty, yeah, I feel it's pretty well blended. And the recipe just says, you know, it says to process it or blend it. Hey, hi. It says to process it completely until it's smooth. Well, it's pretty damn smooth to me. So, I'm going to unplug it. Don't want to leave it plugged in, just in case there's a little accident. You just want to be wise while you're in the kitchen. And then, hold on a second, if you will, because I'm going to go get that recipe. I believe I know what it says, just to blend it in with the, into the pie crust. But just to be sure, because I'm not perfect. Sometimes I second guess myself, you know. All right, so spoon, yep, spoon into the pie shell. So that I'll do this way. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? There's a hole under here. See my finger? Stuck it right in that hole. And then you hold on to it with your other fingers like that. Got a good grip on it. And then you can turn it upside down. If you don't stick your finger in there while you're playing with this, that blade in there contraption can fall into the bowl or whatever you're making. So you want to hold on to the blade while you're spooning this in. Turn this around. Hold on. I got to angle this camera a little more. I want you to see this. I do. I hope you're still with me. I honestly didn't think this was going to take that long. But it's okay. It's all in the name of love. What else are you going to do? Play a video game? Nah. Watch me instead. Okay, so this is really beautiful. Rich and creamy. You can see that beautiful blend of chocolate, honey, avocados, good healthy avocados. This is a great dessert for people that don't normally care for avocados, because I tell you what, you won't be able to taste them between the combination of the little bit of all the chocolate and the honey and the coconut oil and the coffee. You won't be able to taste the avocados, but yet you reap the many benefits that the avocados have to offer. Okay, they're a great fat. Okay, so now this is what it looks like inside there, but I don't want to waste that. So what I do is I carefully take out the blade like so. See, so I pull the blade out of that. And then you want to be gentle with it again, because you can still cut yourself. And you can lick your fingers. And then I scrape around the blade, because there's a lot of stuff in there still. And I don't want to waste that either. And the good news is when I'm done, I get to lick my spatula. So, which is kind of cool, because I know this is yummy goodness. And here's the trippiest part. I just realized right now when I said I get to lick the spatula, I haven't eaten since, God, what time did I eat today? I don't think I ate till 12:30 this afternoon, and it's already 5:53. So yeah, I'm hungry. But anyway, and then I'm going to scrape the little bits that are in there. So, don't go away. Let me move this over here. Rinse my fingers again. And come back to the love task at hand. All right. So, spoon into the pie shell. I'm using my spatula. Let me turn the camera a little bit more. Using my spatula, and I'm turning the pie pan, the pie dish, while I smooth it out, okay? So, now I know why they said to try to bring the sides of the coconut crust a little higher. But that's okay, because this is like almost like a really beautiful little mousse pudding, avocado chocolate mousse pudding, and it's not real runny. And plus, it's going to go into the refrigerator to set. So this is going to be a beautiful thing tomorrow, or later on, I should say. And then let's use those fingers again, because I can scrape the rest of that. Okay, so there's that. Don't go away. Oh my God. So good. So good. So good. All right, so I'm not done yet. Not yet, not yet. So I spooned it into the pie shell. The last thing I'm going to do, look at how lovely that is. Okay? Really pretty. Then I'm going to take some leftover toasted coconut, and I'm going to sprinkle the top with leftover coconut. Oh, shit. How did that happen? There. I tell you, shit happens in this kitchen when you're not paying attention, Patricia. I didn't even see that because I was looking at the coconut. But I slid it back into place. That's okay. So anyway, sprinkle the coconut, the leftover toasted coconut, on top. Like so. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you what, if you love chocolate and coconut like me, this dessert is totally for you. And if you don't, it's not totally for you. But that's okay. I'm sure you'll find something else that you love equally as much as I love chocolate and coconut combination. All right, so there's that. Hold on 1 second so I rinse one more time. Wow. All right, so there you have it. There you have it. Take it to the light. Take it to the light. Can you see that better? Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Look at the sides. It's all the ground coconut and the luscious flavor. And then the top is the chocolate with the leftover toasted coconut. So what am I going to do with this? I'm going to frickin' eat it is what I'm going to do. Not the whole thing. Actually, I have to stick it in the freezer for at least 4 hours until firm. So hold on while I move over to my trusty freezer and find a spot. Because I'm blessed, oh, chicken livers, pasture raised. I'm blessed with beautiful items in here, so I need to make some more room. I'm gonna stick it right here on a level spot. But I have to move this bottle of organic vodka over. Probably didn't know I had that in my fridge, but it's been there for ages. Okay, so let me just show you what it looks like. What the hell, we're gonna go into 45 minutes, may as well. All right, so could you see that? Let's see, where is it? There it is. All right, so 45 minutes later, it's in the freezer and it's gonna set for 4 hours at least until it's firm, which is cool. What else? So, like I said, I made this recipe because I had all these leftover avocados, but I wanted to share with you some benefits from avocados other than the good, healthy, organic, the good, healthy fats I always talk about. The other benefits from the avocados are, sorry about the camera. Oh, the recipe is high carb. So if you're watching your carbs, then you may not want to have this recipe or this treat. And you know what? I think we suffer more over the stories we have about food, the guilt and shame we have about putting a beautiful, delectable taste of food in our mouth than we do about the actual food itself. So, hey, once in a while, have something that's luscious and healthy alternative that's a high carb. It's okay. It's not going to kill you. But anyway, it's high in iron and fiber, high in potassium and vitamin K, and it's cholesterol free. And what else? It's once again by chocolate covered Katie, Healthy Dessert Blog. So check her out. So what am I going to do? As soon as that recipe in the freezer is done, and it's going to be 6 p.m. and I ain't gonna be tasting it tonight because that's too late. I don't eat sugars late in the evening because then I'll never get to sleep. But the cool thing is I said, this is a recipe based on the Girl Scout cookie, the Samoas. Well, the Samoas, if you recall, the cookies are chocolate and coconut, but on the top they have drizzles of chocolate syrup. Or chocolate syrup. Well, I'm going to do this in the morning when I finish the recipe up, so I'll probably show you a video tomorrow morning. But I bought this beautiful, beautiful gourmet raw chocolate by a company called Fourth, like the number 4, Fourth and Heart, like heart, Fourth and Heart. Like your heart is your fourth chakra. So maybe that's what the association is. It's called Chakti. So Chakti is a beautiful chocolate ghee spread. All it is cacao, ghee, and dates. Oh my God. Oh, it's got passion fruit in it, and I'm passionate about passion fruit. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to heat a little bit of this up in a bain-marie, or that would be another word for that would be a double broiler. You have water in the bottom of the pan, and then well, I'm just going to stick it in the whole jar in a pan of boiling water so it'll soften it up a little bit, and then I'll take a spoon and I'll drizzle it over. All right, so stay tuned for that, and I'll finish up part 2 when I top it with the chocolate sauce, and then of course take a bite. So until we meet again, thank you for showing up, and let's look forward to the rest of the recipe with part 2 tomorrow. Blessings, you all. Bye for now.